I never thought I'd be sharing this, but here goes. I'm Liam, 28, a web designer, middle child. That pretty much sums up my role in my family. Courtney, my older sister, she's always been it. Straight A's, perfect boyfriend, the whole 9 yards. My parents, they eat it up. My little brother, bless his heart, mostly just acts out for attention. Me, I'm the peacemaker, the one who smooths things over. But lately, things have been simmering. Just under the surface, you know. Maybe I'm just tired of always playing nice. But then the wedding invite arrived, and now I'm seriously questioning everything. The invitation was all cream-colored cardstock and calligraphy, practically screamed expensive. Destination wedding in Italy. Of course. Courtney wouldn't have it any other way. I flipped it over, scanning for details, trying to picture her in some Tuscan villa. Then I saw the +1 line, and my stomach dropped to my knees. Liam O'Connell, it read, just my name, no and guest, no and Maya. Nothing. A cold wave washed over me. Maya and I have been together for 4 years. 4 years, we practically lived together. My hands trembled so badly I had to set my phone down. I had to be missing something. There had to be a mistake. But then I scrolled through the wedding website looking at the bridal party. And there she was, Sarah Miller, my ex, a bridesmaid. My chest tightened until I could barely breathe. How could Courtney do this? Was she deliberately trying to erase Maya from my life, from our life? I called Courtney immediately. Hey, so excited about the wedding. I tried to keep my voice light, casual. Listen, about the invite. Oh yeah, isn't it gorgeous? Mom spent weeks picking out the font. Courtney, Maya's name isn't on it. There was a pause, a long one. Oh, Liam, don't make a big deal out of nothing. Look, Sarah's known me forever. She's family. You understand, right? But Maya is family, or at least I thought she was. This isn't about you, Liam. It's about my day. Just come and have fun. I hung up, feeling sick. Then my mom called. Liam, darling, what's this I hear? You're not going to let this little thing ruin Courtney's big day, are you? After everything we've done for you, the least you can do is be there for your sister. Little thing. Is that what she thought? Was I making too much of this? Maybe I was overreacting. You need to think about what's best for the family, Liam, not just yourself. I ended the call, feeling a familiar ache in my chest. This wasn't just about a wedding invite. It was about how my family saw me, or more accurately, how they didn't see me, or Maya. This was about Courtney always getting what she wanted and me always being expected to fall in line. A pattern I was only now starting to recognize. I tried again that evening. Family dinner, perfect opportunity. I took a deep breath. So, about the wedding, Courtney beamed. Isn't it going to be amazing? We're thinking of having fireworks. I pushed my potatoes around my plate. I was wondering why Maya wasn't invited. The air in the room seemed to thicken. My dad cleared his throat. Liam, really? Now, at dinner? Courtney's smile faltered. It's just the venue is small, and you know Maya can be a lot. A lot? What was that supposed to mean? My blood started to boil. A lot, my mom jumped in. Honestly, Liam, don't be so sensitive. It's just one wedding. We're family. We should support each other. Guilt. Always with the guilt. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. I clenched them under the table. Support each other? How is excluding my partner of 4 years supporting me? My voice was louder than I intended. Courtney rolled her eyes. Oh, please, it's not like you guys are married. It's just a girlfriend. Just a girlfriend, 4 years, living together. We were building a life. Apparently, that didn't count. My face burned with humiliation. My dad sighed. Liam, why are you bringing this up now? You're always causing drama. Just let Courtney have her day. Deflection, always. That never happened the way you're describing, Courtney said, her voice rising. I'm sure I mentioned +1s were limited. Gaslighting. The heat in my face intensified. This was insane. So Sarah gets a +1, but my girlfriend does because reasons. I managed to choke out. Everyone has problems, you're not special, my mom said, waving her hand dismissively. False equivalence. My throat closed up, words trapped inside. My heart pounded like a drum against my ribs. I stared at my plate, the food suddenly unappetizing. I felt myself shrinking, becoming smaller and smaller, less and less important. I was overreacting, right? Maybe they were right. Maybe I was being selfish. I pushed back from the table. I'm not feeling well, I mumbled. I needed to get out. Now, the silence that followed me felt heavy, judgmental. Upstairs in my childhood bedroom, I sat on the edge of the bed, my head in my hands. I felt defeated, utterly, completely defeated. Maybe I was making too much of this. Maybe I should just suck it up and go to the wedding, be the peacemaker, be the good son, be invisible. But a tiny spark flickered within me, a small, defiant voice whispering, "This isn't right." A week later, my mom called, a cheerful lilt in her voice. "Liam, darling, we're having a little barbecue at the house on Saturday. You and Maya are coming, right?" I hesitated. "I don't know, Mom. I'll have to check with Maya." "Oh, nonsense. Everyone will be there. It'll be fun. Courtney wants to show off some of the wedding decorations she's been working on." I felt a familiar knot forming in my stomach. "It's been so long since we've all been together," she continued, her voice dripping with sentimentality. "Remember those barbecues we used to have when you were little? You and Courtney would always fight over who got the first hot dog." The memory flashed in my mind, a golden summer day, laughter, family. And then the inevitable fight, Courtney getting her way, me feeling small and unheard. "It's just, Maya and I have plans," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Oh, come on, Liam. What could be more important than family?" That question. It always came back to that. "We were thinking of going hiking," I offered weakly. "Hiking? You can do that anytime. This is family time." I could practically hear her pursing her lips on the other end of the line. "Please, Liam, just this once. It would mean so much to your father and me." Guilt washed over me again, a familiar tide threatening to pull me under. That evening, Maya found me staring out the window, lost in thought. "Everything okay?" she asked, her voice gentle. "My mom called," I said, running a hand through my hair. "She wants us to go to a barbecue on Saturday. Courtney will be there." Maya's expression tightened slightly. And, she made it sound like we have to go, that it would be a huge disappointment if we didn't." Maya sighed. "Liam, you know you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, right?" "I know, but it's family," she finished for me. "I get it. Why was I still putting up with this? Why did I let them manipulate me so easily?" Flashbacks assaulted me. Birthday parties where Courtney got all the attention, holidays where my preferences were ignored, countless instances where I was made to feel like my feelings didn't matter. It was a pattern, a well-worn script that I had been playing my part in for far too long. The following Saturday, as we drove to my parents' house, my head was pounding. I fiddled with the radio, trying to find a station that could drown out the anxiety swirling inside me. My stomach churned as we pulled into the driveway. As soon as we walked in, my mom enveloped me in a hug. "Liam, darling, so glad you could make it." She completely ignored Maya. Courtney breezed over, her smile bright and artificial. "Liam, you made it. I was starting to think you were going to hold a grudge forever." She gave me a quick hug. "Hi, Courtney," I said, trying to keep my voice neutral. "These are beautiful decorations," she beamed. "Thanks, I'm so excited about the wedding. It's going to be absolutely perfect." My dad clapped me on the back. "Good to see you, son. Grab a burger." As I reached for a plate, my mom steered me towards a group of relatives I barely knew. "Liam, have you met Aunt Carol and Uncle George? They're so excited to hear all about your job." Trapped. I felt trapped. I spent the next hour making small talk, my eyes constantly scanning the room for Maya. When I finally found her, she was standing alone, looking uncomfortable. Courtney joined us, a glint in her eye. "Maya, dear, I was just telling everyone about the seating arrangements for the wedding. It's going to be so elegant." She paused, then added, "I'm sure Liam has told you all about it." My face flushed. "Yes, he has," Maya said, her voice cool and calm. "It's just a shame we couldn't invite everyone," Courtney continued, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "But you know how it is. Some people just don't fit." My hands clenched into fists. Why was I even here? As Courtney walked away, I turned to Maya. "I'm so sorry," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I shouldn't have brought you here." Maya squeezed my hand. "It's okay, I can handle it." But I couldn't handle watching her being treated like this. Later, as the sun began to set, my mom cornered me in the kitchen. "Liam," she said, her voice low and serious. "Courtney's been working so hard on this wedding. It means the world to her. You need to be supportive." "I am being supportive," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "No, you're not. You're being difficult. You're making everything about you." "It's not about me, Mom. It's about respect." "Respect? Don't talk to me about respect. We've given you everything. The argument escalated, the familiar accusations and guilt trips flying back and forth. I felt a headache building behind my eyes, a dull throbbing that mirrored the ache in my heart. Just try to be happy for Courtney, she pleaded, her eyes welling up with tears. Please, Liam, for me. I stared at her, my chest tight. I wanted to say no. I wanted to stand up for myself, for Maya, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I mumbled, I'll try, Mom. But as I turned to leave, I added almost as an afterthought, we're leaving a little early, though. Maya isn't feeling great. It wasn't a full confrontation, but it was something. A small crack in the wall I had spent my life building, a tiny act of resistance, and it felt surprisingly good. Later that week, I met Mark for a beer. I hadn't really talked to him about everything that was going on. I'd been avoiding it, honestly, ashamed maybe. Hey man, how's it going? Mark asked, clapping me on the back. Fine, I said too quickly. Just fine. He raised an eyebrow. You look like you haven't slept in days and you keep picking at that coaster. Spill. I hesitated. It's family stuff. Ah, Mark said knowingly. Courtney's wedding, I sighed. Yeah, it's a whole mess. Want to tell me about it? I took a long swig of my beer. I don't even know where to start. It's just everything is always about Courtney, always has been, and I'm so tired of it. I've noticed, Mark said quietly. He's known my family for years, seen the dynamic firsthand. So Maya's not invited to the wedding, but my ex is a bridesmaid. Mark choked on his beer. Wait, what, your ex? That's actually not normal family behavior, Liam, at all. I know, right? And when I brought it up, they acted like I was being ridiculous, like I was making a big deal out of nothing. They always do that, don't they? Mark said, shaking his head. I remember when you got that internship in Chicago and your parents barely acknowledged it because Courtney got a new car that week. You were crushed, man. I saw it. I winced. Yeah, it's always something. And I just keep trying to keep the peace, but it's exhausting. Exhausting and completely unfair. So what exactly did they say about Maya? Courtney said the venue was small and Maya can be a lot. My mom said I was being too sensitive and I should just be happy for Courtney. My dad told me I was causing drama. Mark stared at me, his jaw tight. You realize that's manipulative, right? They're invalidating your feelings, making you feel guilty, and then telling you to just shut up and be happy. If anyone else treated you that way, would you accept it? The question hung in the air. I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I said softly, I wouldn't. Exactly, you deserve to be treated with basic respect, Liam. And Maya deserves to be treated with respect too. It's not okay that they're excluding her. It's not okay that they're prioritizing your ex. And it's definitely not okay that they're making you feel like you're the problem. Relief washed over me. Someone finally saw it. Someone finally understood. I feel like I'm going crazy, I admitted. You're not crazy, man. You're just dealing with a messed up family dynamic, and you've been conditioned to accept it for so long that you've started to believe it's normal. He paused. Think about it, Liam. They're not just disrespecting Maya, they're disrespecting you. They're telling you that your relationship doesn't matter, that your feelings don't matter, that you don't matter as much as Courtney. The words hit me like a ton of bricks. It wasn't just about the wedding. It was about everything. It was about a lifetime of being second place, of being told to be quiet and not make waves. The realization was like a slap in the face. I stared at my beer, the bubbles swirling around and around, mirroring the turmoil in my head. Mark put a hand on my shoulder. You have every right to be hurt, Liam, and you have every right to stand up for yourself and for Maya. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking you're being unreasonable. You're not. A new feeling began to stir inside me. It wasn't just relief. It was anger, and underneath the anger a flicker of resolve. I looked up at Mark, my eyes suddenly clear. You're right, I said, my voice firm. This isn't about family harmony, it's about respect, and I'm not going to let them disrespect me or Maya anymore. It was a turning point, a moment of clarity. I knew in that instant that I couldn't keep playing the peacemaker. I had to take a stand. I had to choose myself, choose Maya. The fear was still there, but it was overshadowed by a newfound determination. I would not attend that wedding, and I would make sure Courtney and my parents knew exactly why. The pre-wedding brunch was a pastel-colored nightmare. Forced smiles, strained conversations, the clinking of silverware against china, each sound grated on my nerves. I tried to stay near Maya, offering her small smiles, a reassuring touch, but the tension was palpable. My mother, ever the hostess, flitted around, ensuring everyone had enough champagne and canapes, while subtly ignoring Maya's existence. I overheard snippets of conversations, wedding dress details, honeymoon plans, Sarah's amazing organizational skills. Sarah. The knife twisted a little deeper each time her name was mentioned. I excused myself, needing air. Walking onto the patio, I heard voices drifting from behind a half-open French door. My mother and Courtney. I should have walked away. Curiosity, or perhaps a morbid desire to confirm my worst fears, kept me rooted to the spot. Honestly, Mother, I don't know why Liam even brought her, Courtney whined. She just doesn't fit with our family. She's so awkward, my mother chuckled. I know, darling, she tries, bless her heart, but she just doesn't have the social grace. All that art, it's just not us. My blood ran cold. They were talking about Maya like she was some project, something to be analyzed and dismissed. Liam's always had terrible taste, Courtney added with a dismissive sniff. Remember that thing he dated in college? At least Maya is presentable. My mother laughed again, a high, tinkling sound that sent a shiver down my spine. Well, at least she's keeping him occupied. He can be so difficult when he's single. My vision blurred. Difficult. Is that what they thought of me? As a problem to be managed? My ears rang. The pastel colors of the brunch swam before my eyes, morphing into a grotesque mockery of happiness. I felt a sensation deep inside of something snapping, breaking. Years of suppressed anger, resentment, and hurt coalesced into a single, burning point of clarity. The anxiety that had been plaguing me for weeks vanished, replaced by a chilling calm. My posture straightened. My shoulders went back. I could feel the blood coursing through my veins, a steady, powerful current. My hands were no longer trembling but clenched into fists at my sides. The chatter inside faded into a distant hum. A feeling of relief washed over me, strangely mixed with a fierce resolve. I knew what I had to do. Outside, a robin landed on the patio railing, chirping brightly. Inside, my mother and sister continued to dissect the woman I loved. Enough, I took a deep breath. I walked away from the door, away from the patio, away from the brunch, away from the charade. The decision was made, final, inevitable. I'm not going to that wedding. Liam stared at the ceiling, Maya asleep beside him. Wedding day. He had to prepare. First, the letter. He'd spent days crafting it, rewriting, agonizing over every word. It was printed now, crisp and clean on heavy paper. He reread it mentally, ensuring it conveyed his pain without descending into rage. It spoke of exclusion, disrespect, and the erosion of family bonds. Next, the speech. He'd practiced it in the mirror, aiming for a calm, controlled delivery. No yelling, no accusations, just clear, concise statements of fact. He needed to gather evidence. He pulled out his phone. Screenshots of Courtney's dismissive texts, emails from his parents dripping with guilt and pressure. He organized them chronologically, a digital timeline of their betrayal. He needed Mark. Liam texted, "Coffee, need to run something by you." A therapist. Too late for that now, lawyers. He wasn't suing anyone, just stating his truth. A plan, skip the wedding, deliver the letter and speech. Spend the day with Maya doing something they enjoyed. Contingencies. His parents would guilt-trip him. Courtney would accuse him of ruining her day. He steeled himself. It's about respect, he muttered. Relaxation techniques, deep breaths, meditation. He focused on Maya's even breathing, a grounding presence in his chaotic thoughts. His clothes, simple, presentable. He wasn't going to a party. He was making a statement. A friend on standby. Mark, always Mark, a safe place. Their apartment, a haven of books, art, and shared dreams. Internal monologue, "Okay, Liam, you can do this. It's going to be awful. They'll be furious. Courtney will cry. Mom will guilt. Dad will explode. But you have to do this for Maya, for yourself. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be respected. What if they disown me? What if I lose my family? No, you can't think like that. You're not losing them. They're choosing to push you away. You're just setting boundaries. It's about respect. Say it again. It's about respect. Timing is crucial. Call Mom first. Then text Courtney. Letter and speech after that. Don't let them interrupt. Don't let them derail you. Focus on the message, not the emotion. What do you hope to achieve? Understanding, maybe. Change, unlikely, but you have to try. You have to speak your truth. Mark arrived bleary-eyed but supportive. "Rough night?" Liam asked. "Nah, just prepping for war," Mark said, forcing a grin. Liam showed him the letter, played him the speech. Mark listened intently, nodding occasionally. "Powerful stuff, man," he said finally. "You've really thought this through." "Terrified," Liam admitted. "Completely terrified." "That's okay. It means you care, but you're doing the right thing. They need to hear this." "What if I'm making a mistake?" Liam asked, his voice cracking. You're standing up for yourself. That's never a mistake. Remember, they'll try to manipulate you, gaslight you, make you feel guilty. Don't let them. Stick to your guns." "I'll try," Liam said. "No, you will, and I'll be here all day. Text me if you need anything, anything at all." Mark paused. "One last thing, remember why you're doing this. It's not about punishing them. It's about protecting yourself and Maya. It's about creating a life where you're valued and respected." Liam stood outside his parents' house. The air was thick with the scent of roses and lilies. Wedding decorations adorned the porch. He took a deep breath. No turning back. He lifted his hand and pressed the doorbell. The ornate gold of the O'Connell family estate gleamed under the Italian sun. Wedding music drifted from the open windows. Inside, the air buzzed with excited chatter, the clinking of champagne glasses and the rustle of silk. Perfect. A perfect facade. Liam stood just inside the doorway, feeling like an intruder in his own life. His mother saw him first. Her smile faltered. Courtney, across the room, turned, her face a mask of confused expectation. The music seemed to fade. All eyes were on him. Liam straightened, his voice calm and steady. "Mom, Courtney, I need to talk to you." His mother rushed forward, her voice laced with concern. "Liam, darling, what are you doing here? You're missing the ceremony." "I won't be staying," Liam said, his gaze unwavering. Courtney's eyes narrowed. "What is this, Liam? Some kind of stunt?" "I'm not staying, Courtney, and I'm not going to the wedding." His mother gasped. "Liam, how could you do this to your sister?" "I have something to say, a speech to deliver." His father stormed in, face red. "What's going on here, Liam? What is the meaning of this?" Liam held up a hand, silencing him. "I called Mom. Then I texted Courtney so she wouldn't be surprised. I've prepared a letter and I'm going to read it now." His mother's face crumpled. "Don't do this, Liam. Please, not today." "I will, Mom. Those tactics don't work on me anymore. Not anymore. Now listen." He unfolded the letter. "Dear Courtney, dear Mom and Dad." "Liam, stop this. You're embarrassing us," Courtney shrieked. He ignored her, reading on. His voice was clear, each word precise. He detailed the years of feeling unseen, unheard, and undervalued. He spoke of Maya, of the blatant disrespect she had been shown. He recounted the overheard conversation, the cruel assessment of Maya's character. He finished the letter, folded it neatly, and placed it on a nearby table. Then he faced them again. Now the speech. His father stepped forward, towering over him. "You will not ruin your sister's wedding." Liam stood his ground. "This isn't about ruining anything. This ends now. I'm not asking, I'm telling you." He began, his voice ringing with a newfound authority. "For years, I've played the role of peacemaker, sacrificing my own needs and feelings to maintain family harmony. But I can no longer participate in a system where my happiness, my relationships, and my very identity are deemed less important than the comfort of others." Courtney's face was pale, tears streaming down her cheeks. "How can you do this to me?" "I'm doing it for myself," Liam said, his gaze steady. "And for Maya. You claim this is about family, but you consistently exclude those who don't fit your narrow definition of what family should be. Maya is my family, and by excluding her, you exclude me." His mother dabbed at her eyes with a lace handkerchief. "We only want what's best for you, Liam." "No, you want what's best for you. What looks good to your friends, your neighbors, to society. This isn't about what's best for me, it's about control, and you've lost it." His father slammed his fist on a table, rattling the champagne flutes. "You ungrateful," Liam cut him off. "I'm not ungrateful, I'm awake. I see the patterns now. The manipulation, the gaslighting, the constant pressure to conform. I'm done sacrificing my well-being for your comfort." Courtney sobbed, her carefully crafted composure shattered. So what? You're just going to abandon your family? I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing respect. I'm choosing a life where my voice is heard and my feelings are valued. His mother pleaded, Liam, please just stay for the pictures, for appearances. Liam shook his head. Appearances are no longer my priority. He turned to leave. If you walk out that door, his father bellowed, don't bother coming back. Liam paused at the threshold, looking back at them one last time. Then I guess this is goodbye. He walked out the door, leaving behind the perfect facade, the forced smiles, and the suffocating expectations. He walked towards a future where he could finally be himself. He walked away, reclaiming his power. Liam didn't stop walking until he reached the rental car. He fumbled with the keys, his hands shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. He slid into the driver's seat, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath, willing his heart rate to slow. He felt numb. A strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration washed over him. He started the car and pulled away from the estate, leaving behind the chaos and the shattered expectations. He drove aimlessly for a while, not knowing where he was going. Finally, he pulled over at a scenic overlook, the Tuscan countryside stretching before him in a panorama of rolling hills and vineyards. He got out of the car and leaned against the railing, the wind whipping through his hair. He felt strangely empty. He had done it. He had stood up for himself. He had spoken his truth. But the victory felt hollow. The family he had known or thought he had known was gone, replaced by a gaping void. He closed his eyes, picturing Maya's face, her calm, steady gaze, her unwavering support. She was his anchor, his safe harbor. He needed to be with her. He needed to feel her presence. He drove back to the villa they had rented, a small, secluded cottage nestled amidst olive groves. He found Maya sitting on the patio, sketching in her notebook. She looked up as he approached, her expression softening. "Hey," she said, her voice gentle. "Everything okay?" He walked over and knelt beside her, taking her hand in his. "I did it," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "I told them everything." She squeezed his hand. "And it was awful, but I did it. I said what I needed to say." Tears welled in his eyes. "I'm so tired, Maya." She pulled him close, wrapping her arms around him. "I know," she said, her voice soothing. "I know you were very brave. You did a good job. Come here. Let's relax." He leaned into her embrace, burying his face in her hair. He needed her more than ever. "Do you need anything?" she asked after a while. "Just you," he said. They sat there for a long time in silence, the only sound the gentle rustling of the olive trees. Later that evening they went for a walk through the vineyards, hand in hand. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the landscape. He told her everything that had happened, the confrontation, the accusations, the tears. She listened patiently, offering words of comfort and support. "I'm so proud of you, Liam," she said. "You finally stood up for yourself. You deserve to be happy." He smiled, a genuine smile this time. "I am happy," he said, "with you." They spent the rest of the evening curled up on the couch, watching a movie. He fell asleep in her arms, feeling safe and loved. It's been 6 weeks since that day. 6 weeks of navigating the fallout. 6 weeks of learning to live with the consequences of his choices. The initial days were the hardest. The barrage of angry texts and voicemails from his parents, the accusations from Courtney, the silence from other family members, the awkwardness from friends who didn't know what to say. He deactivated social media, needing to shield himself from the judgment and gossip. Maya was his rock, his constant source of strength. She listened, validated his feelings, and reminded him that he wasn't alone. Mark was a lifeline, checking in daily, offering a sympathetic ear and a much-needed dose of reality. "You did the right thing, man," he kept saying. "Don't let them make you doubt it." The wedding photos surfaced online, a relentless reminder of what he had missed, or more accurately, what he had chosen to miss. He felt a pang of guilt seeing Courtney's smiling face. Had he been too harsh, too selfish? Then he remembered the overheard conversation, the casual cruelty, the blatant disrespect. The guilt faded, replaced by a renewed sense of resolve. He had made the right decision. Slowly, things started to shift. A few of his cousins reached out, expressing their support. "I always knew something was off with your family," one of them confided, "but I never knew how to say anything. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself." An aunt, whom he hadn't spoken to in years, sent him a heartfelt email sharing her own experiences with family dysfunction. "It takes courage to break free from those patterns," she wrote. "You're not alone." His parents continued to try to manipulate him, using guilt and threats to get him to apologize. He refused. He set boundaries. He limited contact. He protected his peace. Courtney sent occasional passive-aggressive texts accusing him of ruining her wedding and destroying the family. He ignored them. He focused on his own healing. There were moments of doubt, of course. Moments when he questioned his choices, wondering if he had overreacted. Moments when he missed his family despite everything. Moments when he felt the weight of their disapproval. But then he would look at Maya, at her unwavering love and support, and he knew he had made the right decision. He was building a new life, a life based on respect, honesty, and authenticity. His relationship with Maya deepened, strengthened by the shared experience. They were a team, facing the challenges together. They explored new hobbies, traveled to new places, and created new memories. He started therapy, learning to process his emotions and break free from the patterns of his past. He rediscovered his passion for web design, launching his own freelance business. He was finally living a life that felt true to himself. His parents eventually stopped calling, their attempts at manipulation proving futile. Courtney remained distant, but he held out hope that one day they could reconcile. He knew it would take time, and he was prepared to wait, or not. He was open to whatever happened. What he's learned, the importance of setting boundaries, the power of self-respect, the healing force of authentic connection. He's grown from the experience by discovering his own voice and finding the courage to use it. His current emotional state is one of cautious optimism. He's still healing, but he's moving forward with Maya by his side. He's no longer the peacemaker, but the protector of himself, his happiness, and his marriage. The question that lingers: how do you forgive people who aren't sorry? Or do you just accept that some relationships are irreparable and move on? Is it possible to have a relationship with his parents if they refuse to acknowledge the harm they've caused? Does he even want that relationship?